grateful to our sponsors, Kelly Stafford with Stafford Tree Service, and also Black Cow Cow Manure. If you need your trees trimmed locally, remember Stafford Tree Service at StaffordTreeSVC.com. And please visit Black Cow Cow Manure, that's K-O-W. Remember, both of the contact details are in the description below. Hi, I'm Stan DeFreitas Mr. Greenthumb for the Ask Mr. Greenthumb series. Borers are a major problem in trees. Now, borers are larval stages of beetles. Talking about John Paul, Ringo, and the boys without Epi, we can't do rock and roll. Well, not those beetles. We're talking about little tiny beetles, not kitties, but little beetles that tend to get in your trees. And I know you see these. See this, Tanner? This bark, we could just peel it apart. See how it came apart? Well, that means the borers have just eaten it totally apart. I know you like chewing on leaves, but borers can also be entertaining. What can hurt you is what you don't know. Now, to treat these, we've used a system. We're using a Maget system, and this has been cleaned, and these is really not chemical. We put in some green dye just so we would have something that you could see. So we put a green dye in here. Typically these have yellow ones are pesticide, and these are either nutrient or fungicide. You should identify what's wrong with your plant. Is it an insect? Is it borers, or is it a fungal, or does it need nutrition too? Many trees that are in tight situations need both. Maybe the tree is too close to the street. Maybe it's too close to the sidewalk. Sometimes we have a very small area where we're trying to put a very large tree. Right plant for the right area is important. And the same thing is even more true when it comes to trees. Now, if you're going to treat for borers, you should be a licensed pest control operator that can handle pesticides. It doesn't mean every lawn jockey out there should be doing it. You shouldn't. You should be a certified arborist. If you're out there making cuts, or if your group, your board's hiring just anybody to cut anything, what you're doing is wrong. If you leave stubs on a wound, that's wrong. That tells me that you know how to push a lawnmower, but if you don't have insurance that covers you working with trees, handling pesticides, you shouldn't be doing it. And I find a lot of people out there are doing it. Now, I'm not going to pick on the mow and go guys, but a lot of guys go, well, heck, if I can push a mower around, I can do anything. And then I go out and I look at their work and I see bad cuts. You can see a bad cut here. Somebody started to make on this branch right here. Why? They went, well, that doesn't work there. I'll cut down here. They didn't make the cut here very good either. But I thought this was a perfect log. This is not how you'd put them in. Normally around the base of the tree, you'd space them out so evenly. Normally I get my son James to help me with that because he can get down and up easier than I can these days. These little injectors will normally stay in for about a week. Now, there's some systems that you'll just force it in under pressure, and they're good too. I personally like the idea of leaving something in for a little while so the tree can pull it in naturally. I think that system is better. But there's point counterpoint on that. There's other people who will tell you other systems. I don't care what system you have as long as you think it works. Make sure you're using a pesticide that's labeled for the borers if you're getting into borers. And you can see how this wood here, it's just it's like paper. Why is it like paper? It's because it's being destroyed. You'll see little pinholes, and that's what the borers do. The borers go through, and I guess in God's plan, they make something from, down into smaller ashes to ashes and dust to dust. And that's what the tree will become. You can see there's a little borehole right here in this particular branch, and you can see how I just pulled it apart. Well, Tanner and I both pulled it apart, my attack cat. But if you want to have something that works for you, make sure you get somebody who A, is insured, B, that knows how to identify the problem. And if you get somebody out there cutting on your tree, remember, if they're not licensed and they fall on your property and you don't have insurance to back that up, you could be liable. It could cost you thousands. It could cost you millions. So pay attention to that. And I know a lot of boards come along and go, well, the guy's cheaper. Well, it's not cheaper if it costs your board millions of dollars. Make sure somebody is a certified arborist. They know where to make their cuts. There shouldn't be a shoulder on the wound when you make a cut. You don't Cut it totally straight, and you sure as heck don't leave 8 or 9 inches on a wound. If you do that on the branch, it's never going to heal back. According to Dr. Shigo of the U.S. Forestry Service, it's called compartmentalization. The tree will naturally try to round it on the edges, and you probably have seen that on some trees that you've seen trimmed in the past. Good cuts are important. When you make bad cuts, you're like a calling card for borers and other things to come in and help break that tree down. And you say, well, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters when the windstorm comes through and part of that tree lands on your condo, your townhouse, or your home. You're going to say, maybe it makes a difference. So, injecting your tree is important. I like to go back in about 6 months and do it again. Why? Because we only get about 80% kill according to the U.S. Forestry Service. We need that second application, and maybe even after that, every 6 months or every year, your tree should be checked and possibly re-injected because it doesn't last forever and we don't get them all. Remember that new videos will be dropping on your favorite social media platforms every Saturday at 10 a.m. If you like this video, please hit subscribe and get all your neighbors and friends to do the same. Thank you once again for watching.